Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have more huge election stuff. I've got like 20 polls that show Trump is way up in basically everything. Obama's freaking out. There was a report a few days ago. Obama having these secret meetings with Biden. He's pissed off, and there's other things. Obama coming out saying Biden's family is just weird. Axios has reported that they seemingly are turning on Biden. He needs to have a really good performance tonight. And I'm going to hit everyone right now, rapid fire, 20 polls, all the metrics, all the top experts, including a lot of liberal experts coming out and admitting this is really bad for Biden. He's probably going to lose. Take a look at this. Nate Silver comes out and gives Trump basically a 66% chance to win. Biden right now at around a 34% chance. I think that's pretty fair. You know, you could argue that you look at some of the other metrics, the models, maybe it's around 70% chance for Trump. But we are still relatively far away from the election. I think if it was the day before the election, Trump would right now have about a 90 to 95% chance to win based on all the stuff. You could maybe say, oh, Biden runs the table in the Rust Belt and then maybe picks off Arizona because of abortion. But it's just such a small chance based on previous polling error of it actually happening. Trump's already taken back Georgia. He's taken Nevada. He's got full control of that. He's possibly looking at Minnesota, maybe Virginia if he picks Glenn Youngkin. So he's expanding the map, and Biden has to somehow hold on to a Pennsylvania, to a Michigan. It's not like, this is the other thing that's important to understand. You have to understand the Electoral College and how it works. And I'm going to tell all these polls, let me just say something. You have to understand with the Electoral College, Trump lost by 40,000 votes. It was not like Biden won Pennsylvania by 6 points where he's got this margin of error now going into 2024. Maybe his approval rating's a lot worse, but he won Pennsylvania by 6 points. That's not what happened. He barely won Pennsylvania. He barely won Minnesota, or he barely won Michigan. He barely won Wisconsin. These are not states that Biden won by 5 or 6 points, and he's got this margin of error. Maybe he could, drop down 4 or 5 points and still win by a point. That's not how it works with these states. They're all so close. The idea that he won by 7 million votes, the popular vote is irrelevant. So he's got such a small margin, and this is when all the underlying metrics come into play. The approval rating, there's numbers that have come out that will blow your mind. Trump is more likable. The felony charge against him totally backfired. They're going to talk about it tonight, and this is amazing. Trump's got the perfect ammunition. Not only have top Democrats and even someone like Mitt Romney who hates Trump, you've got Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of the state that charged Trump, admitting that this is ridiculous. The only reason he got charged was because his name is Donald Trump. Trump needs to say that during the debate about his felony charge. And then you've got the American people. If you look at the polls and the net average before the felony charge versus what it is now, Trump's doing better. So evidently, based off of that evidence, the American people and a lot of the independents, because obviously the Republicans are going to think it's fake, whatever. The real story is the independents coming out and saying, this is totally ridiculous. It's blown up in their face. There's this phony, sentencing that's happening July 11th. They've already overplayed their hand. They knew that none of the other 3 cases were going to be solved before the election, so they had to jam this one and totally make stuff up and boost the charges on steroids to elevate them from misdemeanors to felonies. The prosecutors admitted to Alvin Bragg, there's really nothing here. This is ridiculous. And everyone says they couldn't agree on a crime. It was a 4-4-4 split. Just charge him with something. It doesn't even have to be the same crime. Everyone agrees it's totally ridiculous. Trump's got all this ammunition. All these liberals coming out saying, we hate Trump, but we have to admit, this is not right. And this is a horrible precedent when you are Biden and his Justice Department trying to potentially imprison Trump, with Trump up in every poll for something that was elevated from a misdemeanor. So Trump has so much ammunition and all of this support, widespread support from independents. You've got new stuff. Okay, so the reason I wanted to talk about this is interesting. In just a head-to-head, and I don't like this because they force everyone to, vote or whatever. There's no other choice. You can see it adds up to 100%. Biden 51, Trump 49. So Biden +2. If you bring everyone in, Trump moves to +2. So that's a 4-point swing from Biden to Trump. Cornel West is just sniping votes off of Biden. The Democrats are pissed off. They're going to try and bully Cornel West to drop out. That 3% is horrible. It's all taking votes away from Biden. RFK Jr. is a little bit different. It's hard to really tell who he's hurting, whether it's Biden or Trump. We'll see, but like that 7%, it could be split like 3-3. I mean, it's just, or 3.5. Biden voters, Trump voters, now they're voting for RFK Jr. They're going independent because, they don't like Biden, they don't like Trump, they want another choice. But I think that Cornell West 3%, that's all coming from Biden. Biden leading Wisconsin by 2 points, and then you add everyone else, and that's what it's going to be on election night. And Trump leads by 2. It's a 4-point swing. That's Wisconsin, which is a state that we've seen via the polls. It's like tied right now. Pennsylvania is leaning towards Trump by 2 or 3%. And you also do have Michigan leaning towards Trump. Yes, they're both within the margin of error, but all of this stuff is coming out. We've got new general election polling from the liberal pollster Quinnipiac, who, listen, I have no clue how Quinnipiac is graded as a B+ pollster. Come on. To put it into context, Quinnipiac released one of the final polls in the 2020 election cycle. It was like late October, early November in the state of Florida. Quinnipiac had Biden up by 10 points. It was one of the final polls. It wasn't like this poll was released in September, early October. This was right before the election. Quinnipiac had Biden up in Florida by 10 points. Trump won Florida by 3. And I'm not trying to go at Quinnipiac. Maybe they've adjusted. It seems like they have. I mean, this is popular vote, Trump +4. This is a very positive poll for Trump. So maybe I have to come out and apologize to Quinnipiac, or I really don't, because they were really biased and really off in 2020. But at least it seems like they've adjusted their polling, how they poll, and maybe they're looking at different parts of the country to get a more accurate representation. Whatever their representation was in 2020, it was not good. And we were even seeing signs of it earlier where they had Biden up by 6 in Wisconsin. It's erroneous polling. And even if you want to say Biden can win Wisconsin, that's fine. He's not up by 6. And you could say maybe Trump's not up by 4, but based on the support and the underlying metrics, the horrible approval rating for Biden, it really would not surprise me, even in just a general sense, with a popular vote, Biden being up, Trump being up by 4. Trump is winning men by a 22% clip. Women are Biden +13. Women, quite simply, have lost their collective minds. See, I don't understand. This has always been a dynamic between men and women where the men are more conservative. Remember that thing that they blew up, and a lot of conservative people blew it up. They're like, oh, young boys are becoming more conservative. It's always been like that. Like, males are going to be more conservative. Females are going to be more liberal. That's just the reality. But men +22 for Trump versus women +13 for Biden. Obviously, that's great news for Trump, considering that's an aggregate +9 in terms of Trump when you look at the two genders. You also do have independents. This is a crazy poll. Trump, Biden, head-to-head independents, Trump +10. And then you bring everyone else in, Trump is still +10. So this is just one poll, but if Trump is winning independents by 10 points, he is not losing this election under any circumstance. That's just that. Breaking: former President Trump leading Biden in 5 Electoral College forecasts. All of them are in agreement that Trump is up, even 538. All the major ones, Decision Desk, you can see there. Quinnipiac, this is the shift that we've seen. January, Biden +6, +4 in February, +3 in March. April, it was tied. May, it was back to Biden +1. And now in June, it's Trump +4. And we've got the debate tonight, which also could hurt Biden. We will see. I don't think it's going to hurt Trump at all. Border crossing numbers plummet dramatically in weeks after Biden's new policy. That was Politico. A lot of people angry at this. I don't know what Politico is doing. Also, the other thing that's crazy to me, and I think I've got other stuff on this when it comes to, I had to go back and watch the second debate from 2020, the presidential debates, because they had 2. The one Trump missed because he had COVID. They had to cancel it. I'm sure Biden was happy about that. But Biden was literally criticizing the fact that Trump stopped the catch and release, which is one of the dumbest things imaginable, where, if you catch an illegal immigrant in the United States, you release them, you give them a court date in 5 months, and if they don't show up, I guess they're free to go. And Biden was like, they're going to show up. Oh my God, that's been one of the biggest disasters. And now, like little leeches, they see how horribly catastrophic, and Obama behind the scenes is just losing it. They've had to totally shift on immigration. They've only done it this year. They didn't do it in 2023. They didn't do it in 2022. They didn't do it in 2021. In 2020, they called Trump a racist for his border policy that they totally threw out when Biden came in on the 20th of January in 2021. He gets sworn in. One of the first executive orders. We're throwing all of Trump's border policy out. It's racist. It's bad. They campaign, and there's like a 3-minute video that I have, or I liked it, whatever, on Biden just saying, oh, it's racist. You know, we're going to let everyone in. What Trump is doing is terrible. He's keeping kids in cages. That was originally done under Obama. And so now they're like little leeches. They realize that, oh, wait a second. The American people and the independents, because they don't care about conservatives, whatever. They want the independents. If they lose the independents, they're going to lose the election. And the independents are saying this illegal immigration is out of control. And now they're like, oh, you know, there's only like 4 or 5 months left in Biden's presidency. It's a miracle because I have to get reelected and I'm losing immigration by like 30 points in terms of my approval rating. If you look at the approval rating on immigration, Real Clear Politics, it's minus 30 for Biden or like minus 28. But now, guys, I'm so tough on immigration. Please, the first 3 years we let everyone in, but now I need to be reelected. So it's just so fake. It's pathetic. They're only doing it because they want to retain power. It's sad. You know, at least keep your policies. But no, they have to try and retain power like little leeches. They have to like, oh, we're changing everything and now it's working. And don't pay attention to the first 3.5 years. No. Just look at what we're doing now. Nate Silver, 66% for Trump. He doesn't even agree with 538 in their metrics. He's saying it's more so in favor of Trump. I agree with him. Favorability ratings. Gallup, there's no way this is right. Donald Trump, 46% favorability. Biden, 37%. Trump, 9% more favorable than Biden right now, as opposed to what it was going into the 2020 election where Biden was more favorable. That is remarkable. It seems like, according to this data, it had Biden at like 46, Trump at 43, and now Trump's up by 9. So that's like a 12 or a 13-point swing in terms of favorability in Trump's. That is a crazy, remarkable story. It's poll after poll right before this debate. Everything's coming out. Let's see. In June of 2020, a New York Times poll, Trump was backed by only 5% of black voters. The new 2024 poll, this is 4 years later in June, Trump is backed by 30% of black voters. Even if that doesn't hold, even if it's only 20%, that's an increase times 4. That's a 400% increase, even if it's just 20%. So that's a polling error of 10. So this is huge with the black vote, and especially black males coming out voting for Trump now. I think with black men, it's like 40% support for Trump. It's 60-40. It might soon be 50-50. This is crazy stuff. So we've got this dude who, this is an interesting thing. His Walmart order from 2022 was $126. So he saw that, a few days ago or whatever, and he hit the reorder button because apparently you can look at your old orders, you can look at the price, and then if you want to order the exact same thing, because most people, they get the same thing, they get the grocery store or whatever, the service, all the people come and the workers, they get all your food and then they deliver it to your house. It was $126, the exact same stuff. He's reporting, and he's got it on video on a TikTok, $414. It's an increase 350%. It's horrible, the inflation. I didn't even know it was that bad, but it doesn't surprise me. It's just $414 from 126, 2022 to 2024, a 2-year span, and everything's come out. It's been admitted. When you look at the overall growth in terms of net worth per U.S. household, it's 1% since Biden took over. That is a historic low. And this is with my goodness, you think the economy is at a record high. This is just how statistics can be misleading because of the inflation. It's bumped up the economy, but it hasn't helped people. It is totally out of control, and that does a good job of looking at it. This is just a tweet about the CNN not allowing people to, comment on the debate as it's going on. I think what CNN's going to do, it's very important for them to release that snap poll like they always do. They always release a snap poll right after when they host a debate. And it's like, oh, Biden wins it with 64%. They might have to bring it down a little bit because it'd be too obvious. I think Biden's going to lose the debate. They'll probably say Biden still wins at like 57%, say Biden won, 43% say Trump won. And that's right after the debate. They'll come out with a poll and say that they want to take control of the narrative. That's their goal. When it comes to not allowing people to react to the debate, I think that's mainly because of ratings. Like, they would lose a ton of ratings if you've got a lot of people watching live streams and watching other people react to the debate, and so they're not tuning in themselves. So that's why I think they're doing that. But you should be able to. I mean, this is a debate. This is huge stuff for the country, and this is totally not like the norm where you're normally always allowed with no copyright problems. You're always allowed to react to debates and live stream them. Interesting timing on the story. Oh yeah, Barack Obama has come out and admitted with the Biden family there's some weird shit going on. We don't know what's going on with what Obama wants to do. Michelle Obama coming out saying that they've been unfair to Hunter Biden's ex-wife in terms of not involving her in campaign and not campaign stuff. And now Michelle Obama's not going to be involved because she's pissed off at the Bidens. So there seemingly is some infighting, and you do have to wonder if Biden has a bad debate performance coupled with all these polls. Obama is seeing these. It was already reported they were having, secret meetings, and Barack was like, this is horrible. How are you so bad? These numbers, you're going to lose for sure. And Biden is just completely, I remember it was reported on Easter weekend. Axios said Biden had an Easter weekend meltdown. He was screaming at the top of his lungs inside of the White House. His advisors came to him. They said, old man, you're losing every state. And he's like, no, the polls are wrong. That was reported by Axios. And now apparently, the dynamics with Obama and Biden, it's like Obama is Biden's father. He's really the whole puppet master, and he's known as like the liberal god right now. He controls everything within that party. And he just loses it on Biden. When they have meetings, he spanks him. He's pissed off when Biden is losing a major poll, like Quinnipiac coming out with Trump +4. Obama sees that, and he is just very, very angry, obviously. This is just, this is the 3-minute clips of Biden just saying that he would not enforce immigration. They've done a 360. It's taken them 4 years to do a 360. They're only doing... they're doing a 180. A 360 would be the same thing. They are doing a 180, and the only reason they're doing it is because of the polls. And it's funny how now in 2024, Politico is reporting he's fixing everything now. He waited 4 years, and now there's already millions of illegals into the country. But don't worry, we have the election coming up. He's fixed everything. Oh, it's a miracle. He's giving kids student debt relief right before an election. No, it's a coincidence. Oh, it is such a coincidence that the Biden-Harris campaign, they send out a letter to these kids, and it says, Biden-Harris campaign, we've eliminated $12,000 of your student debt. They've ruled it totally unconstitutional. They said Biden couldn't do it. It's buying votes. But it's a miracle it's happening in 2024. But it's just a coincidence. It's a coincidence Biden is doing this about the border, 4 months before the election. It's a coincidence. We need to vote for him. It's so important. He's done some things, and he's changed. Guys, we know the only reason he's changing is because of the election, and he's losing literally every swing state. If Biden fails Thursday night, the days following are going to be wild. So yeah, this seems to be like they're hinting at possibly they're going to be replacing Biden. Maybe they're going to have to do something. I don't know what they're going to do if Biden really struggles in the debate. Normally, there's never a whammy. I'd like to see Trump with a knockout punch during the debate. I do think CNN will force Trump, just by the questions that they ask, to defend himself a lot when it comes to revisionist history, when it comes to 2020. The democracy question, whether or not Trump thinks 2020 was a legitimate election, that's going to be asked. And I'm not going to get into that because it'll be an hour, and they're also going to ask, the whole January 6th thing, threat to democracy. The democracy question is going to be another one. We'll see if they bring up abortion, even though it's not one of the top 5 issues or even the top 10 issues. That's really the liberals' only positive when it comes to these big time issues, the economy, as long as Trump is able to argue and his advisors tell him, listen, let's adjust it for inflation. There's so many numbers, so many metrics that Trump can say that can disprove the idea that the stock market, which really only helps rich people when it's doing well, the stock market being up so the economy is great. And I know it's kind of hypocritical because that's what Trump said, but think about it. Trump did not have the inflation when the stock market was doing very well. So you're comparing two different situations. Yes, Trump bragged about his economy when the stock market was doing well, but he didn't have the crippling inflation. And you've got these kids with long hair reporting, saying, with the Walmart thing, it's $122. The kid with long hair, now it's $450 or $416. It's an increase of 400% in 2 years. This has all come out and it's all verified. So the inflation is so out of control and there's proof of it and the citizens realize it. And that's why Trump's up in basically all of these polls. He's surged now head to head with Biden. He's up by 2 percentage points, which is just crazy. We never thought we would see something like that in 2020 or 2016. This is historic for a Republican candidate in terms of net polling, even with just the popular vote, let alone some of these swing states. A state like Nevada, Republicans haven't won in multiple decades. He's winning every single poll by 5-6 points. Arizona, he's winning all the polls. Georgia's not a swing state. Florida's not a swing state. Ohio's not a swing state. So things are really shifting here, and Biden's in a real desperate situation. They've had to prepare him for 7-8 days. Physicians have come out and said, he's going to be on something. It's obvious. That's why they've had to prep him this entire week, and we'll have to see what happens tonight. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.